In a world where memories could be stored and traded like currency, a gifted neuroengineer named Victor Grayson found himself in possession of a memory that held the key to unlocking the mysteries of true nature of consciousness and the nature of reality itself. In the memory, he saw a glimpse of a being unlike any he had ever encountered. It was a creature of strange knowledge, one that held the secrets that could help him to finally make sense of all things. With his memory as his only guide, Victor set out into the vast expanse of the galaxy, his mind swirling with confusion and questions. He had no idea how to recognize the being he was looking for, or where to even start his search. All he had was his wits and determination, which were quickly being depleted. As he wandered aimlessly through the galaxy, Victor encountered strange and wondrous creatures, each with their own stories and secrets. He learned of planets with sentient clouds, space stations made entirely of ice, and a race of beings that communicated through smells. But none of them were the being he was searching for. As time passed, Victor's hope began to dwindle. Was he chasing a figment of his imagination? Had he been foolish to think that he could find such a being in the vast expanse of the galaxy? But just when he was about to give up, he learned about a planet inhabited by a race of beings, unlike any he had ever encountered. They were intelligent and curious, with a deep understanding of the cosmos and the secrets it held. The planet itself was a marvel to behold. It was a water world, with vast oceans covering most of its surface. Above the waters, there were floating islands of various sizes, each with its own unique ecosystem. The islands were home to all manner of creatures, from bioluminescent squash to enormous sagonts. The pink flamingo-like creatures named Squawkus, on the planet described to Victor, were a fascinating and peculiar species. They stood tall on two legs, each leg ending in three-toed feet, that resembled a cross between a flamingo and an elephant. Their bodies were covered with soft, fluffy skin that ranged in shades of pink, from pale blush to hot magenta. Their necks curved gracefully, supporting small heads with beady eyes, and an elephant trunk-like beaks. Despite their somewhat avian appearance, Squawkuses were actually amphibious, able to swim and dive in the planet's vast oceans with ease. In the depths of the oceans, there were vast underwater cities, built by the Squawkuses and other aquatic species. These cities were stunning in their complexity, elaborate nests out of a fibrous kelp-like plant called lumenta, and a stony, branching organism known as ocearal. Squawkuses had a unique approach to life. They were a highly intelligent species, with a deep understanding of the planet's ecosystem and the interconnectedness of all living things. They lived in harmony with their surroundings, taking only what they needed, and giving back to the planet in equal measure. Squawkuses had a much different concept of lifespan than humans. Although they could live for hundreds, even thousands of years, and they saw their existence as a dynamic process, rather than a fixed one, with a great amount of freedom to mold their life. Each individual played a small but important role in the grand scheme of things, and their contributions were valued not just for the present moment, but for the infinite future. Hearing stories about Squawkuses, Victor decided to go to their planet and see if they were the creatures he learned from the memory he encountered. After arriving, he started exploring the planet. At first he could not find the Squawkuses, but he did not give up. He kept exploring for many days, until he completely got lost and confused. As he wandered around, he came across a strange alien creature that was perched on a rock, gazing out at the endless expanse of the sea. Intrigued by the creature before him, and uncertain if he had at last encountered an authentic Squawkusian, Victor cautiously approached it, activating his UILD, Universal Instant Language Decipher, to facilitate communication.
Greetings, I am Victor. Might I inquire as to your appellation?
I am designated Flap Flap. It is agreeable to make your acquaintance, Victor.
The sentiment is mutual, Flap Flap. Pray tell, are you a Squawkus?
Indeed, I am of Squawkusian origin.
Fascinating. I have a query, could you inform me of the current time and our location?
Oh, Victor, that is a rather perplexing inquiry. Our present circumstance has us sharing this experience in tandem. However, the concepts of time and space, as you understand them, are foreign to our kind. My instructors imparted such knowledge in the distant past, but it remains an enigma to us Squawkusians.
Curious, could you elucidate your perspective?
Victor, to us Squawkusians, it is peculiar that others regard time with such earnestness. You see, time and space are mere illusions, akin to a horizon. They are byproducts of consciousness. Time and space do not possess true substance.
How can they be insubstantial?
The issue lies in the belief in a singular universe. We Squawkusians understand that infinite universes coexist, and a function of consciousness involves traversing these multiverses. I grasp how the illusion of motion, space, and time can emerge, while in truth, all that exists is the wandering mind.
I fail to comprehend. How can time and space be illusory?
Consider this analogy, Victor. We dwell within a quantum multiverse, where each adjacent reality exhibits subtle variations. What you perceive as time and space is, in actuality, a result of your consciousness navigating these disparate realities. Envision a film reel, each frame displays a marginally distinct image. When played in succession, an illusion of movement is born. Time and space function similarly, as a series of static images that our consciousness interprets as progression and distance. In essence, everything is merely an element of the interconnected lattice of the multiverse.
I believe I grasp the concept. So, where do I find myself within the multiverse?
You currently inhabit a distinct reality of the quantum multiverse, as do we. Each reality possesses its own set of attributes and idiosyncrasies, yet they all remain interconnected, forming a greater, unified structure.
I comprehend your explanation of time, but what of space and place? Can they be illusory as well?
Indeed, they too can be deceptive. Just as time results from our consciousness traversing different realities, space and place are similarly illusory. For consciousness to endure, it must persist in navigating the quantum multiverse, akin to shifting between disparate frames in a film. Occasionally, it transitions between highly similar frame universes, causing the perception of time to decelerate, while other instances involve more dissimilar frame universes, accelerating the passage of time. Analogously, space and place are simply byproducts of our consciousness journeying through these varying realities.
That is indeed a fascinating notion. It suggests that our perception of reality is in a perpetual state of flux and alteration. This brings to mind a concept I am familiar with. Have you encountered Schrödinger's cat?
I am unfamiliar with that concept. Could you elucidate?
Certainly. Schrödinger's cat is a thought experiment in quantum mechanics that delves into the idea of superposition. Essentially, it posits a scenario in which a cat is sealed within a container alongside a radioactive particle. According to quantum mechanics, until the container is opened and the cat observed, the feline exists in a simultaneous state of life and death. It is a paradoxical notion that challenges our comprehension of reality.
Oh, I perceive your point, though I believe superposition may not be the most accurate term. Rather, I propose it is a collection of distinct universes, each presenting a unique reality, with our consciousness determining which universes we observe or traverse. In one set of universes, the cat survives, while in another, it perishes. We merely happen to observe the universes in which the cat exists in one state or the other.
Your perspective is quite enlightening. It's as though each universe constitutes a separate frame in the film reel, with our consciousness dictating the frames we perceive.
Precisely. And akin to a movie reel, there exist infinite potential frames, each harboring its own distinct reality. Our perception of reality is constrained by our consciousness and its capacity to observe or traverse these various frames.
Astounding! This notion profoundly challenges our grasp of reality's nature.
Indeed, it does. This is why it is essential to remain receptive to novel ideas and viewpoints. There is always more to uncover and understand, both about our individual selves and the vast multiverse.
And so concludes the tale of Victor and his discovery of the multiverse through a lost memory. With newfound understanding, Victor continued his journey through the quantum multiverse, ever mindful that he himself held the power to determine which future he would explore.